Hey everybody, Rob here. It's time for a couple of stories from the ProRevenge archives. First one, don't screw with IT, we run the world. Let's jump right in. Every one of you that hits that subscribe button helps keep the robots at bay.
Hey, that's not fair.
All names and locations changed. About 10 years ago, on Neptune, I was working in my first software development job out of university. We made websites, promotional material, and supplied equipment for conferences and trade shows. So if a company wanted a booth at some event, we would produce everything and support them for the duration of the event. This is where I came across Maleficent. She was in charge of the marketing department of a company on nearby Pluto, and they hired us for a convention they were attending. I produced the website for them, which consisted of some pictures and videos of their latest product with a few paragraphs of text. Also some links to their social media, a sign-up form, etc. Pretty basic stuff. It's important to note here that I never met Maleficent in person during this time, just talked to her once on the phone, the rest via email. She mainly dealt with our project manager, a lovely woman called Credenza, who made sure all the different parts worked together. Part 1, the Screw-Up. Everything was going fine. I'd produced their website and was just waiting for Maleficent to send some images and videos of their product to replace the placeholders I had been using in the meantime. This was a Tuesday, the event was the following Monday. I emailed Maleficent asking when I could expect the files and got no reply. Still no reply Wednesday, so Thursday I asked Credenza to chase it up. She stopped by my desk a short after, a bit flustered. She'd just spoken to Maleficent, who had angrily claimed that she had sent them the previous week and had emailed me. She blamed Credenza and me for being incompetent. I could find it nowhere in my inbox or junk folder, so as far as I was concerned, she was lying or had sent it to the wrong email. Credenza contacted her again, confirmed my email address, and asked her to send them again. She shouted at Credenza some more, but eventually sent the files. But not until the last moment on Friday afternoon, as I was getting ready to leave for the weekend. Bitch, I had to run that evening, but I promised Credenza I would log on Saturday morning and copy the files to the website and everything would be ready for Monday. Saturday morning and the video files didn't work. I don't remember the details exactly, but the files were made using some kind of proprietary codec that I just couldn't convert to something usable on their website. Long story, marginally less long, I spent Saturday praying to gods I didn't believe in for a miracle that wouldn't happen while trying to get in contact with Maleficent. Eventually, on Sunday, she replied back and I slowly walked her through the process of using another video format. She was using some crappy pirated software I'd never heard of to produce the videos. When she finally sent it, it still was wrong, but at least it was in a format I could read and convert myself. It all worked out in the end. The website was ready by Sunday evening, and the convention went well. Part 2, trying to get me fired. Following the convention, Maleficent was furious. She again accused us of incompetence, and me personally for screwing up her weekend. What about my weekend? I fired back at what a pain in the ass Maleficent had been. The guys who had met her at the event said she was no easier in person, and how I'd done everything I could, but Maleficent denied everything and questioned how I was still in a job. This made Credenza look bad, and her bosses, none of them tech savvy, didn't understand what I was talking about with wrong codecs and file formats. It probably sounded like I was just trying to cover my ass after the fact. Plus, when it comes to money, the customer is always right. So it ended up becoming a sort of, let's just agree that we all made mistakes thing, but it was clear that all fingers were pointing at me. Consequently, I didn't get a pay rise I had been in line to get, meaning I couldn't move out from my parents' house, which was killing me, and was put on probation for 6 months, though I left for another job on Vulcan after 2. Part 3, Revenge is a dish best served with béarnaise sauce and Sauvignon Blanc. About 6 Earth years later, I joined a company that sold women's boots, all shapes, colors, That's how we spell it on Vulcan, and sizes. They had their own IT department that produced their websites and other internal systems. Little did I know that Maleficent had also moved to this company at some point, again in the marketing department, which was downstairs from me. There was a promotional event soon where our company was giving away goodie bags with some freebies to anyone who signed up. The bags themselves were some high-quality laminated things that were being specially printed up with our company's branding, plus a QR code. The QR code would take you to a special page on our website with discounts. I met with Maleficent, who clearly didn't remember me from before, and talked about the special page I was to produce for the website. She was a pain in the ass again. She was never available. She would take an hour-and-a-half lunch every day and reclaim it on expenses. And when I did meet with her, she changed the requirements constantly. Can you just change that a bit? Never mind, put it back. Oh, actually, could you put this shitty animation at the top of the page? No, that's a terrible idea. Why would you suggest that? Etc. Also, sitting with her, I witnessed how belittling she was to everyone in her team and would gossip about anybody if they weren't there at that moment. Obviously, all the while remembering our previous encounter where she had all but got me fired. I thought about calling her out on this, but it would have achieved nothing, and I had only just started working at this company a few weeks ago. I didn't want to make waves. So I persevered, and eventually my webpage was done, and I gave her the URL to send to the bag makers for printing the QR code. But she screwed up. I was copied into an email chain with her sending off the URL to the bag makers, and she had done it wrong. The URL was something like www.ourwebsite/offer, but she had sent HTTP instead. I double checked what I had sent her and mine was correct. She had obviously typed it out rather than using copy and paste. We were ordering 1,000 of these bags from the printers and they were £1.15 each. I mean 115 space credits. Then I noticed way down in the email chain, she had copied her password for the bag website. It was password. Yes, these oxygen thieves exist by the millions. I logged in with her details from outside work with a proxy just in case, and could see she had indeed ordered 1,000 of the bags with the wrong URL for the QR code. I quickly added an extra 0 to the quantity and also pushed the requested delivery date back to a day before they were needed. I wanted to change the URL to some porn website, but that wouldn't match what she had sent in the email, and I wanted her to be unable to escape blame. Part 4, the aftermath. Honestly, I thought nothing would actually happen. I assumed the bag company would spot the URL mistake and just fix it. I assumed someone would notice the tenfold quantity increase and delivery date change. But as they say, when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and umption, because none of these things happened. The bags arrived at the last minute and the URL didn't work. Maleficent stormed upstairs and asked why our team had screwed up and demanded we put it right. I acted innocent, did some troubleshooting, and explained to her the URL had an extra T in it. Fine, change the URL on our website. Nope, the HTTP bit is out of our control, I'm afraid. It must be the bag company's fault. But wait, what's this? Your email to them with the wrong URL? This doesn't look good for you. Meanwhile, someone comes up the stairs and asks, weren't we only getting 1,000 bags? There seems to be a lot more. Maleficent rushed downstairs to sort out this fresh hell that was rising around her as a warm glow welled up from inside me. I actually never saw her again. I had to travel to one of our other offices that afternoon, but a friend filled me in later. With not enough time to sort things out with the bag company, Maleficent had to rush around town to find a stationery store that could print 10,000 QR codes on sticky labels to stick over the wrong one on each bag. Apparently, she was there most of the night attaching them all, which was doubly funny, as I'm told we didn't quite manage to give away the original 1,000 bags at the event the following day anyway, let alone the other 9,000. She was put on gardening leave and fired for gross incompetence and costing the company all the extra money. Now, the marketing department is run by a guy called Theodopoulos. He's much nicer. Beautifully set up and executed with that warm glow of, I did this and none need to ever know the touch of my hand here. On to our next story. Online shopping while we're dozens deep in queue? Not anymore. Let's jump right in. This is actually from a few years ago, but I just remembered it and it made me laugh, so I wanted to share. I worked for a few years part-time in reservations for a large casino and resort. We were frequently short-staffed on any given day, leaving us deep in queue and some pissed off customers once we got to them. It was very draining and we had lots of turnover. 3 to 4 supervisors were present during each shift in the middle of the room while the workers surrounded the edges. During the day, we'd make trips up to their mid-floor open office to hand in forms, sign things, etc. They almost never jumped on the lines to help with the queue though. Somehow too busy to help. One day, we are about 25 deep in queue and I go up to have them sign something. The supervisor does not see me approach and I notice she is online shopping for shoes or something. She attempts to quickly change the window, but it was too late. Keep in mind, the supervisors could use the internet freely, but we workers were not allowed to use the internet at all, even during slow times. I decided that it's some BS to avoid helping with the queue, to online shop on the company clock, and all the time to do something that workers were not even allowed to do. So I figured out how to keep them all busy permanently. We had these things called profile merge slips. Basically, when a customer would call in to make a reservation, you should check our customer database to see if they've stayed before, by name, by player's number, etc. But many would not do this or would not do it correctly. Therefore, you'd end up having half a dozen profiles for the same actual customer. When we encountered these during our normal duties, we were supposed to fill out profile merge slips with the person's name, player's number, and the various profile numbers they had, and highlighting what you believe to be the correct profile number, if you thought that there was one. These were turned into the supervisors for them to correct within the database in their spare time, as we workers did not have the ability or authority to actually make these edits and corrections within the database. You might normally turn 1-2 of these profile merge slips in each week. I decided to do these with every spare second I had, since we couldn't do much else. I systematically began going through the entire customer database, at least 20,000 profiles, beginning with last names with the letter A. I easily made dozens of these profile merge slips each shift. My record was 104 in one shift. Each of these profile merges probably took 20 minutes each for the supervisor to review and implement the changes. Sometimes they'd come back to me with not sufficient info for merge. I didn't care, I knew this, and I'd submit them anyways. Not my job, nor did I have the database authority to figure out which one was actually correct, if any. As you might guess, this cut into their spare time free-for-all. So I do this for about 3 months, and they are so backed up now. Each day, I'm getting the approved and denied profile merge slips in my inbox for ones that I had submitted several weeks ago. As time passes, they get more and more behind. Here's the best part. We suddenly are given a policy change. We can now all use the internet on our spare time. Great, I know this was purposefully directed towards how I was using my spare time, as it was never even a sincere thought before this to allow us unfettered internet access. Basically, they'd finally be allowing us the same rights they had in an attempt to give me something preferable to do with my time instead of profile merge slips. Nope, I still kept at it. Though I did poke around Reddit here and there, I never stopped submitting those bad boys every chance I got. By the time I put my 2 weeks resignation in, they were 3 months behind in profile merge slips. It took months just to get through one letter of the alphabet. I had only gotten to the letter H. I left that place so happy, knowing that workers finally got to use the internet, because the bosses didn't like doing extra work, and instead, they essentially lost their own ability to use their spare time on the web. Shouldn't have been online shopping while we were in the queue. OP added an edit to the story. It says, "Not every supervisor was a jerk. There were many days when I actually liked all the supervisors on my shift and who were coming into the next shift, so I wouldn't turn my profile merge slips in that day. I think everyone breathed a collective sigh of relief when I didn't turn anything in, but there was one in particular boss, lipstick on a pig, who was just a straight bitch. Previously, as a worker, she would routinely hit the skip button on her phone to avoid taking her turn for a call, and it would pass on to the next poor soul. We were almost never supposed to skip calls, but not only did she do it routinely and openly, she got a promotion to supervisor. You can then imagine what she was like with an ounce of authority. So, I'd save up my profile merge slips for a few days, and as soon as lipstick on a pig came in for a shift that I worked, I'd personally hand her my amassed 100 to 200 profile merge slips with my best smile. Here you go, made some more today, forgot to turn them in yesterday too, oops. That was the best part. There are so many people in so many companies around the world that are in a position of authority and have absolutely no actual ability to lead. It's really sad. I want to thank both OPs for posting their stories to the ProRevenge subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you in the next one.